In this video you're about to hear about the future of the automotive industry. Everything is changing dramatically at the moment. We have a move towards autonomous vehicles, electric vehicles, and the emissions on cars are being lowered. There's a lot of talk about range anxiety, and then the future really is looking bright for us as a company introducing personal leasing, and we have a new product called Heads Up.
Welcome to ProfileTree TV, and today we're joined by Paul McGuire from Traction Finance. So Paul, thank you very much for coming in, and you're one of the directors over in Traction Finance.
Yeah, I was founder and director of the business, so bought the previous business I worked in 2003, and we worked at that time. When we bought the business, we rebranded the Lease Options, and then there was a lot of people in the market saying, "Oh, we didn't come to you because we thought they only leased." And then we went on a program with Invest ANI, and I was looking at the future and went to the launch of the BMW i3 and i8 in London about 6 years ago, and I thought, this business is changing dramatically. So that then led to the going doing a workshop. What's our brand? What are our core values? And we keep our customers mobile, and out of that then Traction and Traction Finance really evolved from that. So we're in their 6th year now as Traction. So
incredible.
Yeah.
So what's the services then? So if someone doesn't know anything about Traction Finance, and I'd find it hard to believe there's many in Northern Ireland that don't. But what's the key services?
Predominantly, we would have been leasing vehicles up to 3.5 tons really. So it's cars, commercials, and commercials up to 3.5 tons. That would have been and mainly the corporate clients or businesses.
Yes.
We always had a personal element to it, where we've done cars for private individuals. Then if people wanted to buy a car, hire, purchase a car, they wanted to say a customer maybe had somebody starting new and they had a requirement, okay, this person's on a probation, we don't want to tie into a 3 or 4 year lease, then we would have given them a 6-month rental, which is a lot more give a bit of flexibility. So we always sort of prided ourselves on being flexible with our customers, what their needs were. Customers ringing saying, "Oh, somebody's starting tomorrow and I forgot all about the need a car." Right, we'll have one down to you tomorrow. Just meeting customers' expectations. So bent over backwards really to get them what they need. And as I say, when we did the rebrand, it was keep our customers mobile.
Incredible. And you think that attention to detail around customers, what their needs, and even the flexibility, that's really helping the business?
It's the business probably growing mainly by referral, and then we had a Southern Irish business which has traded since 2010, and that was to cope. Our largest customer came to us and said, right, we were becoming an all island of Ireland, IOI they called it, business. We need IOI suppliers. So I was going scratch my head, how do we do this? So set up a Southern Irish company then, and we got the first year over, got a few accounts produced, and then suddenly we got finance ourselves, and that was us. And then we opened an office in Dublin 4 years this August, and we're now employing 6 down there, and we now have the same number of fully maintained vehicles in the Southern Irish market as we do in Northern Ireland now.
Wow, incredible.
So it's just keeping on pace, as you say, with the customer. We haven't marketed ourselves heavily. It's just been on referral, and that's a challenge for us going forward. Is really pushing on the sales. We still want to grow, and we went through the hard times in 2008 when it was hard to get finance. Customers couldn't get finance. Finance houses were pulling out on us. We back our finance into a finance house, and then we buy the vehicles back at the end of contract. So everybody was running scared, and the lack of finance in the market. And then if you went to England, it was going, well, oh, Belfast, oh, you're Ireland, right? Okay, no, Dublin's a basket case, so we're not touching Ireland. So there was a lot of challenges, but then I suppose we've ridden the storm and we're out the far side, and we really need to drive the business on now and get a bit of scale to it. So
incredible. So you've got all the bruises and the stamps and bandages from the going through the stage of growing in Ireland, I guess. At this stage.
Well, I suppose got the grey hair to show, and the it's learning from your, not, I don't think in the business sense it didn't, we stayed steady, we didn't make too many rash decisions, so the business has always ticked along nicely, and then it's knowing when to really push the button and go, and there's any amount of funders out there now for us, and cash wise we're quite strong as a business, so
Brilliant.
we just gotta keep pushing.
Yeah, that's amazing. And how did you find then growing the business in ROI? Was it a different market, different way of doing business, or was
It's a
it
different way of doing business. Certainly Northern Ireland is, I think if you can succeed in business in Northern Ireland, you'll succeed anywhere. Margins are tight. Everybody knows somebody. So if you can be successful, I think, in this market and survive through the recession, then there's a different attitude in the south. There's definitely more of an entrepreneurial attitude is probably the best way to put it. We're okay. You're close enough that I'm not going to fall out with you. I'm happy for you to make a few pound. Look after me, and there's a good understanding, in business that everybody makes a bit of margin and the whole thing keeps moving. So, and relationships again and I'm a bit diverse from that. So we employed, the reason to set up the office was we got a really good guy who was local, and he's really grown the business dramatically for us. So, and he still continues to do a good job.
Amazing, excellent. That's very interesting. I find it as well that some people do say that Northern Ireland can be at times a tough place to do business, and sometimes it's easier to get international sales than it is sometimes.
Well, I think at that time I looked at, right, what are all the big construction? Construction was probably the biggest industry that was hit hard, and I looked, right, okay, Graham's of Dromore, Farron's, the Lagans, they were all exporting their services. So we actually took the move initially and set up an office in over in Carlisle, and had this guy who was going to really kill dead things, and that didn't materialise. So, and it was harder to manage. And then we were in the office one day, and Trish, who I would chat to in the mornings, she just said, "Paul, why don't you open an office in Dublin and employ Robert?" And I went, "You know what? You're absolutely right." So had the conversations with Robert, and he was delighted to come on board, and we're here today. So.
Incredible, yeah. Excellent, exciting times.
Yeah.
So you would mind sharing a little bit about your background as well?
Yeah. I if we go right back, I basically did my A-levels, went to Jordan, didn't get obviously very good grades, went to Jordanstown, did a 1-year foundation diploma in accountancy. So I got my part qualified exams. My uncle's an accountant, so I started working for him and doing my certified account exams part time. And at that time I was racing motorbikes, motocross, off road. So that was really my passion and my love. And it was really, I was working to fund that passion. And then I was with him 5 years, and broke my leg, dislocated my ankle, and just thought, right, sitting in the hospital, applied for a visa to Australia, and took off for 5 months, and then came back. Then I rang my dad and said, "I'm not coming back." It was February time, motorbike season's due to start, so I think, right, I'll come back. And 10 minutes later, another friend from Newry, he rang, he says, "Believe everything that?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "I'll have a job for you on a new 125. I said, "Right, I'm your man." So sort of worked with him. We practiced one day, he allowed us to practice 1 day a week on the bikes, which was absolute heaven for me. And then I sort of was putting everything into it and really trying to push hard. My dad didn't have the money that I needed to really go to the next level. And I was training like mad and pushing too hard, a couple of big crashes, and then decided no. And then just by chance, there's a enduro, which is more like a car rally. It's not like a motocross, so it's all off road through forests. And the Irish team were heading to Czechoslovakia in '91, and got a call, "Do you fancy coming with us?" So this was 10 days for the event. Went there, bang, that was me. Then I went to my first broke ribs at that event. Went to the first British Championship, and I finished third. So that was me doing enduros for the next. I raced British Championships, World Championships, and a number of the sort of those 6-day international events for the Irish team. So that was really me. And then my career changed. I was working in Coca-Cola part time because I wanted to do World Championships. I got a bit of funding from the lottery. I thought, right, this is really what I want to do, and then met my wife now, and sort of living down at BT9, and sort of had to buck up my ideas because all I had was 2 motorbikes and a van. So then have to get a job. So try to progress through Coke. Was told I had a job, didn't get it. Went and worked for another company for a year doing sales just on dairy products, and that was hard work, driving a lorry in and out of all the duns and whatever. So I then took a gamble, and at 30 went into the Agnew Group to do van sales as a trainee on 8K, and that was me into the industry. And then I 98, then 3 years later, I got an opportunity to become general manager of a contract hire and leasing company, which was owned by Winchester Finance at the time. They were Dublin based and owned by GE Capital. So I jumped at that because the figures fascinated me on the contract hire. It wasn't just about selling cars. So I went into that, and then that was me started in the industry. Then they sold the business end of 99. I was on a bonus, and they paid me out as a sponsorship check, and I went and did the Paris Dakar Rally. Came back from that, and the guys from Donnelly's, literally the day I came back, there on my doorstep and saying, will you come and head up this contract hire company for us? So, and that was me to 2003, and then bought the business over then. So
Amazing.
sorry, that's a bit long-winded.
No, that's brilliant. What a story. So plenty of racing. So motors are in your blood no matter what anyone
Well,
says.
motorbikes, yeah. I wouldn't be a car buff, but I suppose it's the figures and all the rest that fascinate me. Yeah, and
You're slightly competitive.
yeah.
So very
Just
good.
slightly.
So, which is a good skill, and I guess feature when you come to checking the numbers and pushing for.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's fascinated at the minute by all the sport stats like rugby. And who's played so many meters, gained so many meters, and what intensity different. There's really good stats about the Pro 14 against the European Cup against what the Super 14s. The amount of meters per, I don't know, so many minutes, but it was like literally the Super 14 there in New Zealand. They're nearly running twice of what the guys in the Pro 14 are running.
Wow. Okay, so
So yeah, that just
that's what's
fascinates
happening.
me. Yeah.
Incredible. So you'll be watching the game this weekend then?
Going down, thankfully. Yeah.
Oh yeah, very
Yeah.
good. So that'll be some events. So
That'll be good.
amazing. So when it comes to car finance, there's a lot of options.
There's a lot of options. Yeah.
Where do you even start?
I suppose it's really for us. It's qualifying what are your needs.
Gotcha.
We can go out there. We could set up a portal and be the cheapest in the market, but that's not going to. What we are about is qualifying. So have you got a family? Do you do sport? Do you want economy? Do you want flash? What are your motivators? What mileage are you doing? So even if you're doing really mega mileage, I'd be saying just buy a used car and put it on a HP agreement, on a personal contract purchase agreement or whatever. So it's not what's it's not what's best for us. It's really, and I genuinely can say it's advising the client what's best for them, because you give the wrong advice once and you only do it once.
Yeah.
Whereas you want people to come back to you. So yeah, there's options there for personal contract hire, personal contract purchase. There's hire purchase, and I think with the millennials now, we're definitely seeing everybody who's looking to move to more of a rental model and happy to pay the monthly amount. My dad, you don't own your car, that's no good. Whereas now people are, right, it's 300 a month, right, okay, yeah, I can do that. And that's the life we're living now, especially the younger generation.
Yeah, it's amazing how it's changing. So
It is.
my first car would have been taken out like that over 3 years, and it was brilliant, and I couldn't have done it without it. But then, as you say, the mindset changed, and every car, then you buy it.
Yeah.
But the market's changed again, and the deals, sometimes you're looking and you're just going, wow, okay, so maybe I might make a phone call. So it's very, very interesting how things change.
And again, for directors of companies, a guy might say, I want a Range Rover Sport, but he's going to be taxed at 37% of the value of the vehicle, which is nuts. It's just, that would kill you. So, right, okay, well, okay, all your company cars are on contract hire, but for you, you need to take the money outside the business and we'll do your personal deal. So it's just advising accordingly.
Yes, and so as we were saying before, you need to have a strong head for numbers.
Yeah, yeah. It helps. It definitely helps, and then you're able to go. A lot of you're presenting maybe to an accountant or to an MD. So a lot of those guys are sharp. So you need to know what you're talking about.
Amazing. And how do you then keep up? Because obviously every year the tax system changes, and then there's the I guess from the dealers as well. There's new manufacturers, new offers, and new positioning, and then the markets.
It's constantly evolving, and I'll never say we're the cheapest in the market because there will always be a deal. Like if a guy who's waiting on he wanted a discovery, and I kept saying there's a deal going to happen somewhere, and then I thought tail end last year WLTP will definitely get a deal. Even running into the end of December, I thought, right, rang a dealer, you're not stretched for a few extra vehicles towards your target. No, we're okay. And then he sent me he knew what I was looking for, so he sent me an email on Monday, and he says, right, here's a list of 5 vehicles. So brought the customer down last night, and he's agreed to it today. There's extra discount, and I needed to absorb some negative equity for him. So again, just waiting on its timing. I thought a month ago I was definitely going to be able to do it, but it's always evolving, always changing. Different manufacturers will come in. They maybe have cars that they have to take from the factory as part of their allocation, so they have to take those cars, so they'll put a really good offer behind it, just as nearly like a loss leader, just to get them moved.
Amazing. So actually I've seen a different light. And so actually you're kind of, so if I went to you, you're with your knowledge, you're actually actively trying to get me the best deal.
And that's what we've got to do.
You have the knowledge that I obviously wouldn't have. You'd access.
Well, it's access to all the, as you say, it's keeping really up to date with what's happening, what's going on, what's the latest in the market, and then there's the market trends. So we're moving from diesel to petrol to alternative fuel vehicles. Electrification it's not even coming, it's here. Autonomous vehicles are, in America there's certain states where they're driving autonomously. So the whole landscape in our world is, and it's going in advising customers now, look, you've had a car policy for 10 years, and yes, 1 car or 2 cars drop off or a model changes, so therefore we need to update it. It's now nearly, we need to totally rewrite it, and then it's, so again, if you have a guy, say you have a guy, a sales rep on the road, he's doing 30,000 miles a year, still a diesel is the option. If you've got somebody else who's doing it, commuting in and out from the house, doing 8,000 miles a year, well then he could be an alternative fuels, be it a hybrid or an electric vehicle, and then benefit in kind wise he's in that lower bracket at the minute, 14%. And then a lot of customers were actually saying, look, maybe you should look at extending your contract for a year to 2020, because 1st of April 2020, if you have a range of less than 30 miles in whatever vehicle, be it a hybrid, then you're taxed at 13 or 14%. But if you're over 250 miles, so say like a Tesla, you'll be taxed at 2%, whereas it's 14% today. So next year is going to see the whole benefit in kinds change again.
Wow. And that's it changes every year, and that's incredible.
Every year it's been maybe you get a 1 or 2% increase, and that's been how it has been. And now they've put a 4% surcharge on diesel where it was 3% previously. So the diesel market is down, petrol market is up, but the biggest increase in percentage terms, albeit off the lowest base, is in the alternative fuel.
Yes. Excellent. What do you think the future is for diesel? Because here we love diesels.
2040, all vehicles sold need to be zero emission. 2050, all vehicles on the road need to be zero emission. So it's
okay. That's a big change. So what happens to the likes of I guess cars today, modern cars today? They'll be classic cars then. There's probably you'd still be allowed to have them, or maybe
I think the view is by 2050 that there won't be. That's what they want to have all now. Whether that's those are the targets,
technology and everything
and technologies. But each year, sort of you can see every 5 years there's a massive drop in what the European Union have set out as the targets for the industry, going down to 95 grams per gallon, or going to 75, and then obviously 2040 going to zero.
It's incredible, so exciting times for,
Yeah,
I guess everyone's health.
In one way it's exciting, the other you're a bit nervous because we're having to put values on cars now for 3-4 years time, and you don't know what they're going to be worth. I suppose for me, one of the comforting thing is that we're still in Ireland, and there's still very much a farming, diesel, rural mentality where they'll still go for diesel cars. So the inner city, especially inner cities, there'll be a massive change. If you're in Dublin, you can see it changing. London, Manchester, Birmingham, all the major European cities, there's a new congestion charge. There is a congestion charge in London, but there's another one where you've got to be below certain emissions, which has literally just come in, and the charge is £100 per day.
Wow. £100 for one day?
One day. So that shows you where it's all going, so they want to really clean up the inner cities.
Wow. So again, back to the focus on health, and I can understand how that filters through to people's health and everything. But maybe that's a good thing for you, because you have to keep changing the car then.
Yeah, well, it's keep changing the car, but it's, I know there was something on over the last couple of days with Volkswagen in Hanover where they were launching all their new electric future. And I asked today, could we get some information on it? And they're going, no, this was top secret. There's no phones allowed or anything. So, but the guy came out of it and he said, if you stand still, you'll be gone, literally.
It's incredible. And again, you think of these brands and so famous for their diesels and economy and what they did in the road. Amazing. And
Toyota, Lexus, they have Honda. They've all stopped producing diesel. The Koreans, they reckon the future is hydrogen. So especially for inner cities, the hydrogen sort of model is that they suck air into the engine, and what comes out the exhaust is clean air and water. So it's actually purifying the air effectively.
Another thing I find is incredible. We're talking about cars and car finance and keeping businesses mobile, but actually one of the biggest things is the fuel, the type of fuel and it's just amazing how that impacts the industry. So I guess you have to keep up to date on that and what's happening in technology as well.
It's technology, and the car, you can see with the autonomous, that's where it is going. So it'll be a case of you'll be in your car if you're going on business to Dublin. Type in the postcode and you'll be sitting doing your emails in the car on the way down. It's just, it is mind-boggling, but it is the way it's going to go. And then beyond that, and not to over-exaggerate, but flying cars. A year ago when I looked into it, there were 5 startups building flying cars, and I'm sure there are more now.
Incredible. That's amazing when you think about it, and they'll come.
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt.
Uber are massively into that. They're talking about flying taxis, and they are tech. They're part tech company, really.
It's incredible. So what the future holds, and amazing. So you think I guess so. Right now we've the electric cars, and we see a lot of hybrids of that. Would an electric car be a good investment, or do you think that's
depend on your needs? I think we're a year away from having a range of cars in the market that are going to be not fit, I don't mean fit for purpose, but they're going to appeal to people doing reasonable mileage. So like we sold one to a guy, accountant in a company in Glengormley. It was one of the BMW i3s that come in. I think he travels in from Coleraine every day, 60-mile commute. So he comes into work, plugs it in at work, and then drives it home. So he's on full electric. This is a solicitor that I deal with, and he lives in Ravenhill Road, works in Belfast. I said, you're mad, just get an electric car, because you're just in and out to work. And then if he's going to football or whatever, it's all around Belfast. So it makes absolute sense, and the range is increasing. So the likes of the Teslas, Elon Musk is a fascinating character, and he's put the technology out there. So if you think about where mobile phones started, the battery size of the battery to where they are today, it's inevitable. I think the last I researched it, there were about 8 factories in the world building batteries for cars. So It is where it's going to, and Musk has put the technology. He said, if anybody can better what I have, then go ahead, because it's only going to benefit my business. And then where he was selling the Tesla, and they were sort of in the 70k bracket. You know, he's got this new 3 coming out, and it's certainly going to be in the mid 30 bracket, which is a whole different proposition. 200 plus mile range. I think once you get into that 200 to 250, it becomes a whole different proposition. There's a lot of vans, you know, working inner city are electric. A lot of the councils are moving towards electric vans, and Nissan have brought out a new Nissan Leaf, and it's looks like a car, and it again has got a good range up plus north of 150 miles. Volkswagen have got an e-Golf, which you can order. Big lead time on them, but again, it's well over 100 miles range. So it's once the range, you know, people talk about range anxiety, and Northern Ireland has a fantastic infrastructure. It's actually the best in the UK. They have over 1,000 and around 1,000 charging points, and in the Republic they've got about 3,000 charging points. So there is a good infrastructure. You go to any Apple Green and they have Tesla points, and they've got normal points for charging for electric. So
very good. So obviously people, we know businesses traditionally would lease cars, but personal now, maybe more and more people are thinking of personal leases, are they?
yeah, there's a massive uptake. Benefit in kind is one of the big issues, where if you're a company car driver, say your car was a diesel 135 grams per kilometre, where previously you'd have been maybe around 15% of the list price, you're certainly in the mid or high 20s, especially when you add on your 4%, and then that goes up each year. So it gets to the stage where the company car driver looks at it and says, well, the benefit in kind, maybe a 40% tax earner, so it's cost me this, and then plus I will get an amount from the company. So once that's taxed, they add that amount on to what they're saving in their wages, and it becomes very doable, because you've got the issues where you got to insure it, and then maintain it, road tax, all the rest. So, but going into a new vehicle now, if you've got 20,000 mile service intervals, all those bits add. It's not that you're having to put it in every 6,000 to have a service. So, you know, maintenance costs have come down with long life oil. So the personal is an area where there's a big uptake, and plus it's also the millennials. You know, that's where they don't want to put out 20k on a car. They just want to pay a monthly amount. So we have actually realised the opportunity, and we've launched a product called Heads Up. So it's sort of, we can market it, the Heads Up this week, the new deal is this, and that's what we're pushing out to companies as an affinity scheme, and it's working really well. So a lot of employers are now today looking at what can we do as regards staff retention, you know, holding on to staff, giving them benefits that another employer maybe can't have. And we've got really good traction, excuse the pun, on that, and we've been well received by HR departments and a lot of businesses, because they want to offer out this to their employees as a benefit to working for them. So again, if we've got probably our largest customer, we would have 350 vehicles in Ireland with them, so their staff can avail of the terms that the company have. So it's another benefit to working for the company.
Excellent.
So yeah, there's been really good uptake in it.
Incredible. I can understand why it appeals to people, so that's amazing. So what a benefit.
Yeah.
So you're giving our guys ideas now, I'll be under pressure, so very good. So and we're talking about millennials, and so people who maybe don't benefit from company schemes, so obviously for personal hire as well, so they can reach out.
So any staff. So again, if you have what's classified as business needs or a business benefit, that's traditionally where they would come to us, and as a corporate customer looking for it, we can now say, well, we can do those cars, but for the rest of your staff, they can benefit from your purchasing terms and our purchasing terms, and we can provide a scheme for them.
Amazing.
And that's really working very well.
Excellent. I've always wondered then as well, how does it work? Because obviously I think is it better for the manufacturers to sell cars, but actually the leasing? So you lease a car for a couple of years, and then it gets sold into the second-hand market. Is that what normally happens?
They sell them. So we have that's other part of our business where we move the vehicles second hand to try and achieve the maximum value for them.
Brilliant. And I guess no matter what, there always tends to be a good market for second-hand cars.
Yeah, and there's people who will never buy new. They still think, right, okay, I want a used car. That's where I perceive that's taking the depreciation hit. And if you get a used car with low mileage, yes, but if you get a used car with high mileage, potentially there's no warranty on it. And the one thing about used cars now, when you drive into a dealership, before they even put a spanner on it, the clock's running. Yeah. And I had a great example of a guy who qualified in a commercial estate agency, and they were allowed basically a Golf diesel, and he said, I drive, I've always driven BMWs, and he had a 10-year-old 5 Series 530D, and was after about 6 months he rang me. He says, what can you get me on a company car? And I said, why? He says, the thing broke down, and it cost me a fortune to firstly get it in the dealership and then to get the diagnostics done, and then so he said, I'm going the company car route now.
Amazing. And actually, I see the warranties tend to be long now as well. You see cars with 5 years and 7-year warranties.
The Koreans brought that in, both Kia and Hyundai. So the Hyundai's 5 years and the Kia's 7 years. So that again is attracting a lot of people towards those brands.
It's an amazing peace of mind, and the fact, the comfort it gives you that someone would stand over their vehicle that long.
But they are very strict, and you can't miss a service. You've got to have your service done with a Kia dealer. It's got to be within the parameters, 2,000 miles either side of the service interval.
Wow. Are you in trouble?
You're in trouble.
I didn't realise that, but again, it's fair if you're getting a warranty like that.
It's a fair system, but it's tightened up. There wouldn't be just as much goodwill as there used to be.
Amazing. And then again, yourselves, you've obviously grown so fast in the last couple of years. So what's next for Traction Finance?
I think we've got a good core base we've brought. We've gone from really starting out with 2 of us. We've got 23 staff actually, and you get growing, you grow and you get pains, and then in Dublin we've sort of opened it up as a similar operation to Belfast. We've actually put the brakes on that. We've centralised a lot of the admin, and we want to make it now more of a sales hub with a bit of support for the sales team, because it keeps the control.
In your head office?
In our head office, and it's the people who have been with me for a long time, and we've sort of got a core team that I trust their every decision. So having that is essential, and that's again what we've learned. We went the other way, employed more people, and then we've had to rein it in. So we've brought an operations director in to sort of get procedures north and south and get all that moving. We've got a computer system, we're not getting the best out of it, so again, he's tasked with getting the best out of that. So we've had to invest in additional sort of, I call it, cementing the business, getting the foundations of the business right, and we've just started a new sales director at the start of January, and now we're ready to go. So yeah, our current fleet sits just in around 1,800 vehicles between the north and the south. We've ambitions to be well over 2,000 by the end of this year, and then I want to have a 3,000 vehicle fleet, within the next 3 years actually. So you can't stand still, and if you stand still, as that guy said to me yesterday, you'll not be here.
Amazing. And your growth targets match ours, so we're both ambitious. We'll be competing comparing
together.
Numbers. What's your percentage? So amazing, and it's really interesting. Again, as another fellow business, you've centralised everything here, and you're using that as more of a hub as opposed to, I guess, for cost but control as well.
Control, and then there's also other challenges. It's changing the culture of the business as well, and it's getting all the staff to realise, empowering the staff, which we've never done, because everybody would have been coming to me on nearly every decision, and it's now saying, well, I'm happy that you make a decision, I trust you, so if there's an issue, come to me, or at the tail end of it, tell me, right, this is what I've done, this is what it's cost, and you know, and a lot of people knowing me saying, "Oh, it'll be hard to let go." Believe you me, I need to do this because otherwise I'm entrenched in the business and I'm not on the business, and I need to be on the business. You know, I think I do have the vision and where everything's going, but we need to stay ahead, and that's why I need people who have been working with me to step up. The culture has to change. Everybody has to start working together as the team, and I take all the staff are sick of me hearing, sick of me talking about this, but you look at what Joe Smith has done in Irish rugby. It's phenomenal. Look at what he's done. You know, first, if you actually go back to what he initiated in Leinster, look at the amount of talent that's coming through the scheme in Leinster. You know, Ruan Pinar leaving Ulster was a big thing. John Cooney's been a revelation. So has that been the wrong decision for Ireland? You can definitely hand on heart today say no. Yes, Ruan Pinar was a massive loss at the time, but Irish rugby have benefited phenomenally. They now have got 3 to 4 scrum halves, and Conor Murray is probably top of his game. So if you're 10 minutes late, if you're not 10 minutes early for a Joe Smith meeting, he frowns on it. You know, and then you look at him, and if you look at Andrew Trimble 5 years ago, Six Nations player of the tournament. Before that, he was always on the periphery of the team. As soon as Smith came in, then he is the man. So what Smith made the difference. It wasn't Andrew Trimble suddenly became a good player. He got the best out of him. So whatever he has is that X factor. And we have had it, where some staff maybe they need a bit of training, or they're maybe not doing what we feel they should be doing. Before I would have thrown the head, it's now sitting down and explaining, right, okay, this is what we need out of you. Do you have any challenges? Listening to them and making them feel valued, it's all part of what we've got to, I have to drive and push that. We've got to do that as a business. So that's from somebody who's been in sport and just, I'm doing this, everybody following behind me and pick up all the pieces. I've had to totally change how I am and how I interact with all the staff, and that's not easy.
What an example as well. So no.
Yeah, but you got to look at what he has done. And if you don't sort of admire it and sort of learn from it, then.
And if you followed Irish rugby, you'd know what we had before 10, 20, 30 years ago.
It's even you go back to, there's a match against England, and John Hayes went off and Tom Court came on, and the scrum, that's 7-8 years ago, the scrum got pulverised, and now they can bring a world-class bench on, not even a prop, a world-class bench. So it's just exciting times. And how many Leinster players are playing for Ulster, and other Joey Carberry's playing for Munster, it's phenomenal.
Excellent. So we're looking forward to seeing what happens next.
Yeah, World Cup, bring it on.
That's it. So another thing is, I guess, with Traction, it's so refreshing and nice to see a business head office here in Belfast and going into Dublin as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah.
It's good to see that as well. So brilliant. So a couple of years of heavy growth then ahead.
Yeah, all being well, I'm really excited about the future. We've got, it feels like our senior management team's in a good, where I want it to be, and I was told probably 5 years ago, you need to get the right people around you. And maybe at the time I sort of was probably a bit of arrogance on my side and thought, don't know about that. But those were true words, and I've listened to it now, and I've brought good people in, and yeah, as you say, it's exciting, and I'm really energised, and because there's so much going on and the change, that definitely helps.
Very good. It's good advice. So I'm going to listen. So thank you for sharing that. Because you don't want to let go. You don't want to let go. It's your baby. How can you? No one else can do it as well as you.
Yeah, but that's where I've been there, done that, and you've got to sit people down. You've got to say, look, this is what I need, and we've seen it with a number of staff that we've actually sat down with, and this is you've got to drive the expectation in the business. You've got to drive the change in culture.
Amazing. Excellent. Thank you.
And you've got to delegate, because there's only one of you, there's only one of me, I was ready for the funny farm, you know, but luckily I've always exercised quite a bit, and I suppose that's been kept me in the straight and narrow mentally.
Yes, another thing I'll have to put down my list for this year is too. It's a big list, but no, it's refreshing to hear that the journey you went through, and we're not nowhere near as big as yourselves, but going through a similar path.
Yeah, but you're obviously on a very strong growth period.
Well, so we're both there. So we have the competition. We have to compare our numbers now.
Absolutely, it's always good too.
Oh, very good. So if anyone wants to talk or get advice on getting a company car in Ireland, north or south, where should they go?
Yeah, just ring into the office, email into the office. So you can look us up, www.tractionfinance.com.
Excellent.
And you know, again, north and south, there's different tax systems for the benefit in kind. And again, anybody looking, you know, the affinity scheme thing is massive for us. You know, there's one we're waiting where there's 4,500 employees, and if we can get in there, you know, that'll be for us. It's a big step up. They want to deal with the local company, so I'm really hopeful that will come off.
Best of luck with that one. So fingers crossed. So
thank you.
We'll be watching. So thank you very much for coming in
Kieran.
today and telling us all about what's happening in the car world and what to watch out for in the next couple of years. So I know now what kind of car I need to get next. So thank you for that, and thank you very much for watching today. Hopefully you learned a lot about your car, and if you're not driving the right car for your business, make sure you check in the links below and visit Traction Finance and have a chat to the team. And no doubt you get excellent advice, and look forward to seeing what new car you have in the year ahead. And this is Kieran from ProfileTree, coming to you from the Innovation Factory in Belfast, and we look forward to seeing you in tomorrow's video. So thank you again.